years, we've always tried to be the community partner that we feel like that the region deserves. I mean, we're blessed to be the wireless carrier in this area that's based here in this area, and we feel like that it's our responsibility to do what we can as best we can, and whether it's the Mountain Arts Center or Jenny Wiley Theater or on and on, we try to do as much as we can. And was approached by the Artisan Center here in Pikeville with a unique opportunity, and we felt like that it was something that we wanted to participate in as well, as just looked like a very unique chance for people to showcase some talent. One of the misnomers about this area is the fact that there isn't talent here, there isn't skilled labor here, and that there isn't all of these things, and that's simply not the case. It's a very poor opinion, and it's unfounded. And when we provide opportunities, whether it's a kid to get an opportunity to sing at the sing on stage, or participate in a play, in a lead role in a musical, or things of that nature, or the art that's going on with this barrel fair, it's just it just opens up a whole new world, and it's our way of making sure that those opportunities are there. When we were approached with the barrel fair, and conceptually as to here's the way this works, I had remembered seeing the horses in Lexington several years ago that had happened, and C.D. Roberts had purchased one of them, and it was displayed at the Turkin Building in Pikeville after the Artisan Fair or whatever in Lexington had finished with the project. They auctioned them off, and CD bought one and put it at the Turkin Building here in Pikeville for many, many years. And I think it's where the Billy Johnson law firm is now, but that horse was there for a good period of time. So I had remembered seeing that, and we felt like it would be a good opportunity to do a couple of things. One, be involved in a very unique project that helped the artists be able to showcase some talent here. So it's just a tremendous area to live in, and the talent here is, I don't care whether it's business person talent, if it's skilled labor talent, if it's art talent, singers and musicians and dancers and actors and things of that nature. There's a tremendous amount of talent here, and we never get that press on the national media, and so that's why it's very important for us to do what we can to let them know that that's not necessarily the case.
After the bears are painted, after the artists get through with their paint, they have to be clear coated, same as a car. So that's how we were contacted and brought in as a sponsor, and very glad to do so. Anything of that nature with involvement in the city and our downtown and whatnot. We think it's wonderful. I personally think it's wonderful, and we're glad to help. Well, I think a small community like we have in our downtown district, I think our city has done a tremendous job with what our downtown has become and where it's going. And I think anything we can add to the way of life of myself, my children, my family, others is something that you have to be for. And I think downtown, where it's going, has to include the arts, all different types of art, and with a few of the restaurants we've added downtown and some things of that nature. I think it's downtown's just tremendous. As you know, we've been in the community since 1960. When my grandfather started Bruce Walters Ford Sales. So we've been here for a long time, and we plan on staying for a long time. So we've had a tremendous relationship with the city of Pikeville and all the things in the community, and we try to stay involved as much as we can. So anytime something like this that, again, like I said, promotes the way of life in our community comes along, a chance for us to get involved, we're more than happy to do so. People are going to fall in love with them. They're tremendous work that these artists have done. It's not just, somebody didn't just take a paintbrush and throw some paint on there. There's a lot of time has been put involved in these, and they're absolutely beautiful. I think people are going to really enjoy them, hopefully for years to come.
bear project. And the ideas, I guess my ideas behind the bear is I'm not treating it literally, like painting a bear with hair and mouth and eyes and things. I'm looking at it more from a sort of design point of view. The way I'm designing it is it's sort of a transition from complicated detail to simple color at the top. And the reason I chose that design is it's a community project, so a lot of people will be looking at it. So the idea is kind of universal. And by that I mean different people can look at it and get different things out of it. But the big, I guess, motif or the big element is color. It will have a lot of bright colors the way the design is. And color is such a strong stimulus. And so that way, you know, just about anybody hopefully will look at it and say, wow, you know, I like all the color and stuff. It does have different levels also. If you notice, I set it up to where these happy flower motifs are mainly down on the ground, and it's almost dealing with ideas of nature too, and maybe the bear being a majestic symbol of nature standing up with the gold head above the clouds and the flowers and everything's growing around him and that sort of thing. I guess it kind of stemmed from teaching. I lecture on a Japanese contemporary pop artist. Okay, his name's Takashi Murakami, and the flower motif is directly from his work. The idea is my own, the arrangement, applying it to something in the round also, setting up the compositions and the colors and so forth. But Murakami's work's very deep, but it looks kind of comical, and I like that idea, and that's one of my big influences for this. And I like the idea also of almost expressionist, and what I mean by that is you can't see the artist's brush strokes and the expression of the artist because everything's sort of manufacturally stenciled on the bear, and I want that kind of human touch quality to be separate from this design.
When I went about applying for the bear at first, it was kind of intimidating because normally you don't really paint a fiberglass bear that's taller than you are. But the more I thought about it, the more interested I got in it. And I don't know, when I was thinking about ideas, music's a big part in my life, and I know that many people around here are really involved in music and are very musically talented, so I thought it was a good theme to stick with. And with my design on my bear, I kind of worked around musical notes and treble clefs and the lines going down the bear, kind of as music lines, staff lines. And the more I thought about it, the more I just stretched and skewed different images that you find on sheet music. With my base color on my bear, I'm using Krylon spray paint, just that you would find at Lowe's or whatever. And my black lines are Liquitex acrylics paint. Completely satisfied with the bear. I don't know if that's something I'll ever be, but that's just an artist thing. It takes a long time for me to be satisfied with my work, really. But I've still got actually quite a ways to go. I'm going to try and clean up some of the black lines and the design that you see on the bottom of the bear. I'm going to continue up into the bear's arm and around its back and up into its neck some more, but then after that I should be close to being done. The most challenging aspect of the bear would probably be the straight black lines, because at first I tried taping them off and just masking over them and painting, and the more I worked with that, the more that didn't work, so I had to go back and then fix my mistake from the first time and then clean all of it up, so that challenged me quite a bit.
I got the bear sort of, I didn't really even know anything. I knew when they had the horses in Lexington, so I knew what that type of procedure was, but I didn't have anything to do with it. I just was aware of it. And some way through the Arts Council, I got a notice saying they were going to do bears in Pikeville, and would I be interested in applying for one. So I answered that email and got an application, and they said that they sent a picture of what we call, laugh and say, the naked bear. They just sent a picture of the plain white bear, and I was to design it. Whoever was applying for one designed their own and sent it back in. And so because I'd been painting some quilt squares, and I've always liked Crazy Quilt, I decided to go with Crazy Quilt, because I thought, well, he'll be nice and bright, and I can put all my little fancy stitches however I want to on him. So that's what I did. I painted, just with instant markers, I painted one of the little white bears with the Crazy Quilt design and sent it in. And sure enough, I was awarded one of them. So I was very honored, because I didn't really think I'd get it, but I did, and I was very pleased. And so they called, Pikeville called and said they were bringing it over. First thing I did then was, besides order some paints, because I didn't have what they wanted me to use. And so then I started marking him off. I just marked him off with a pencil. And then after I got him all marked off and was fairly satisfied with the design, I started painting in. And I just paint a patch here and a patch yonder. And after I finally got him all patched up, well, I textured some of the patches as I went along. Just while the paint was wet, I would take maybe a dry brush or a piece of wadded up paper or something like this is a paper towel. I just laid it over it and pressed it down. This one was just sort of a stipple effect where I just did a brush and patted it on. Different things. This one was just a swirly with the brush. And so I textured some of them, and then some of them I left plain, which I'll sort of calico, the plain ones. Some of them I'll leave plain, just for contrast. But most of them will have a design when he's finished. He'll have little polka dots or stripes or calico-like designs on him. And he's getting there. He's been a real good boy. He's not growled at me a time. The bear himself is fiberglass. And first you sand him down to make the paints adhere real good, and then you put the acrylic paints on, and then after I get through with the decorating the paints, which I do with more paints, where I'll put little flowers or something all over in different colors on this thing, and then after all that's dry and I get all that done, I clear coat him to protect him to get back to Pikeville. The most challenging part to painting him, and you might not think I ought to say this, but that's been his rump. I have to sit on the floor, turn upside down, try to sit on a stool. I can't, and I don't see well, so I can't get my focus where I can get a brush. And so I've had a time getting the lower, like from here up, from his hands up, I can do pretty good, because I can stand on a little step stool and do his head. But sitting on the floor doesn't go good with me. I felt very flattered to even get him. I was surprised, and I feel very honored to have been awarded him.
The overall concept is a UK themed bear, and I'm focusing more on the basketball side of UK than any other traditions probably, but also including a few of the major architectural pieces that they have there. So the buildings on the front are Memorial Hall and the administrative buildings at UK, and then the other things I'm going to include are a basketball floor on the bottom, and the names of the coaches that have won NCAA championships as well. Adolph Rupp, Joe B. Hall, Rick Pitino, Tubby Smith, and then Kyle Perry, the coaches who won NCAA championships for the University of Kentucky. So far, the buildings have definitely been, just in terms of the line work, have to use tape to create each individual line, and it's just multiple layers of gouache and then like 3 layers of paint just to get the black to really show. So definitely the line work on the buildings. I just chose to do sort of a generic basketball jersey, I guess, and make it sort of ambiguous in terms of identity so as not to place like a particular character to the bear, rather an overall like UK jersey. And the basketball hoop, of course, is just another feature to add an element that reflects what UK has like a major tradition in.
I'm actually a member of the Kentucky Artists and Craftsmen Guild that's headquartered here in Berea, and your city did a call to entry through the guild, and that was how I found out about it. And I had 5 or 6 different ideas that I wanted to present, and managed to have time to produce one proposal, and so sent that off, and happily it was the one that I really wanted. So the bear is sort of an homage to the Northern Lights. And this year in Kentucky, because of all of the sun activity, the sunspot activity, there's been more Northern Lights seen in the state. And I actually haven't seen any this go around, but I'm hopeful. And so that's what he's about. And he's sort of halfway through at the moment. I've got most of the sky on and the Northern Lights are on. So the next step is to finish the trees, and then I'm going to put all of the constellations on him, the big bear and the little bear, and all of the rest. I'm using mostly acrylic poster paint, and I had to kind of learn how to use it. It dries very quickly. I'm used to using an oil paint that I can blend, and this actually won't blend. You've got to build it up in layers. And so what I've done is sprayed on the background, the light blue first, and then the dark over the top in 3 or 4 different layers. And then the glitter is actually just a spray glitter that we put on first underneath, and then highlighted the lights with the green and then the pink, just give them a little more sparkle. And just like I said, learning to use a new type of paint on a vertical surface, that was a little bit different than what I'm used to doing. The eyes have been painted about 5 times, trying to get them to where I want them. So it's kind of fun because normally he lives in the corner over here. And they'll come in the door and then they'll realize there's somebody or something standing kind of behind them, and so they'll do sort of a double take. But when the bear first showed up and he was white, everybody kept calling him a polar bear, and they were taking photos with the polar bear at the glass shop, which I thought was kind of funny. So it is kind of fun, but the kids will get their photos taken with him and try and climb on him, which I've been trying to discourage, so, especially now that he's got paint on.
My bear, the title is Astro Bear, a giant leap for bear kind. And as you can see, it's turned him into a bear astronaut. I have a whole backstory about him, how he was secretly sent to the moon so that they could be sure that it would be okay for large mammals instead of just the dogs, you know, and monkeys that they'd sent into orbit previously. So the bear is made from a lot of parts that I've collected over the years and just saved just for this occasion, although I didn't know that when I was saving them. But there are bits and pieces of all kinds of odd implements and things that just had and assembled. To tie everything together and to make a good painting surface and also to give it more protection from the weather, the bear body is all coated, and in fact pretty much all the elements are coated with painted cloth that's applied with a matte medium, so it's just a very durable surface, hopefully, and takes the paint well. So he's really just sort of wrapped up like a mummy, and fortunately, because of the shape of the fiberglass shell, it ends up looking like an astronaut suit, because the bear body itself is sort of puffy, and it works well for this. I had a similar idea that I had suggested to Horse Mania. I wanted to do an astronaut horse at the time, and because they'd already given me 2 horses to do, they felt like 3 would be too many. They gave it to somebody else, so I was really happy to have the opportunity to do the idea here with the bear. It actually works much better for the bear anyway. Well, I have several detail elements to complete. You know, as you can see, this side is more finished than the other. There'll be a matching hose on this side. I have a large patch that my sister made for me that's just a white big round patch that I'm going to paint like a phony mission patch on, you know, so it'll be Apollo 10.5, you know, the secret one. Things like that, details that will really make it work, I think. Having some more flags to add, and various little detail pieces, you know, all over. Obviously, he doesn't have his pants on yet, so I'm still working my way down to the floor. And when I get down to his feet, in the casting, it looks like he has toes, so that doesn't really work for the astronaut suit. So I'm going to cover all his toes up with the body filler, automotive body filler, make it look more like moon boots, and make something that looks like sort of the bottom of his pants that are sort of bloused out. Things like that that make it start to read as a uniform and not just as a painted body. I found out about the Bear Affair project in sort of a roundabout way. I got an email that was sent to me, it was from the Bear Affair people, and they were looking for an artist friend of mine. And so I just explained, you know, how to get in touch with him, and in the process of doing that, found out that this event was going on, and they were open to applications from really any artist. So I put in my design, and my friend, he put in a design too, but he ended up really not having time to do a bear. I can't imagine how anybody does one of these bears that has a full-time job. You know, I'm fortunate that my time is pretty flexible. The most challenging part is meeting the deadline, I guess. Usually when I have a 3D project like this, I can figure out the amount of time that I think that it should take and then multiply by about 4. And it's pretty accurate. And it's just slow going, you know, to get everything in shape and looking good and durable. Otherwise, there's been some challenges, but it's really been an enjoyable process. You know, I like working with things like this, inventing ways to create things that haven't been done.
The concept of it was to do a U-Pike bear for the University of Pikeville, to do their, celebrate their national basketball championships, since I'm a huge basketball fan, and all the various sports activities and educational institution. The bear itself's been a learning project as far as having to go about how to go about actually laying the paint on, and the process of getting it all blended together and keeping it from smudging and different things. It's a lot different than canvas, what I'm used to working on and stuff. I change concepts, change ideas, and change this and that, and work something and then paint back over top of it, because it's just the perfectionist part of me. It's going to be with his U-Pike basketball jersey. You know, it's going to have his basketball jersey and his shorts, and then we're going to have different shade of brown than what I got here, because I think it's going to be too dark to go with what the rest of it's going to be. And then he's going to have the graduation cap on it for the education, and then we're going to have make him with bowling and baseball and football, some of those on it, and then the School of Osteopathic Medicine, some of that on it too. The most challenging part of it was just figuring out how to work with the paint on this kind of a surface, because the surface is really slick and it's tough to keep the paint from smudging. I saw some advertisements for it they were passing out, wanting people to calling on local artists to do the bears. So I figure it's going to be a pretty neat project, something different, something I've never done before. It's like I've never really painted on anything that was 3D. Everything's always been on a flat 2D canvas or on a wall or something, and never on anything 3D like a statue or anything. The mediums we used I've used mostly acrylic, Winsor and Newton acrylic paint, which is my favorite. And then just brushing layers and layers and layers of it with acrylic and building it up. And so it usually takes about 3 layers of it to get a good even coat on it. My favorite part of doing the project is just all the creative process and learning of it. Because I like to learn new stuff, and there's a lot of creativity involved in coming up with concepts for it and changing things and trying to make something that'll be exciting and represent the University of Pikeville well.
What inspired me to do the Friends of Coal Bear was I have family members that work in the coal mines, and I know like the coal mines and stuff have been going down lately, and like some coal mines are completely shutting down, other people are getting laid off, and I just wanted to like raise awareness for the coal and coal mining and basically like the life source of Eastern Kentucky. The process that went into making my bear, first was the laying of the coal on the base of it, and then like a process of spray, let dry with an automotive paint gun, and taping of the state, and then the rest of the stickers and everything is freehand, no stencil. I just wanted the hand of the artist basically in the bear. The most challenging part of the bear was probably the state and the process that I went in to do that. It was a lot of time, more time than I thought it would take, and probably that and the freehanding of each thing, getting them as perfect as I could. How I got involved in the bear fair was my art professor, Petra Carroll. She asked me to fill out an application for the bear fair, and I went along with the coal, and I had a few other designs, but the coal was the one that I set on, and I got chosen, and she said that she would help me out along the way. The paint that I used is acrylic paint. All of it is acrylic paint. Some of it, as in the base coats and the state, are applied with a spray gun, the automotive spray paint, and then the rest of the stickers and everything was applied by brush. It actually makes me feel really good knowing that people get to see my work and that they get to pass it every day, and some people get to pass it every day on their way to work, and it does its job showing like awareness for coal.